Hey there, everyone. I'm Samuel Johnson.
And I'm Haley Dudley.
I'm Timothy D. Hobley.
And this is Uzi. And welcome back to the Steven Universe Retrospectives. And today we're going to be discussing episodes 95 and 96 of Steven Universe, Gem Hunt, and Crack the Whip. And remember how I promised last week that we'd be talking about Jasper? Well, these episodes are all about her. Sort of. The first episode, basically, Gem Hunt is essentially Connie's first official mission. Basically, her, Pearl, and Steven are traveling up north because Garnet has sensed corrupted gem up here. So basically, this is just the first outing for Connie for all of her training. Though Pearl is, of course, keeping an eye on everything because Connie's still a novice. She's gotten all this good training, but she has no field experience. That's why she's here. But as such, Steven, Connie, and Greg are not Greg, it's Pearl. Steven, Connie, and Pearl go in search for the gem, and sure enough, they do find it, but it ain't alone. There are actually two corrupted gems in here, and sadly, the instant that the trio encounters them, they both run away. As such, Connie suggests that pretty much they split up, and while Pearl's reluctant to do it, well, Connie assures her that they can do everything fine, that she's got everything they need to survive. Steven's got his backpack full of crap. Connie's read this survival manual, which you pointed out was used.
Yeah.
And pretty much, and they even got a bunch of snacks, and they even got all the snacks and everything they need. So Pearl does agree with them keeping in touch with each other via walkie-talkies. As such, Steven and Connie go one way while Pearl goes another. And pretty much, we get some nice little character stuff as Connie and Steven talk about the whole corruption angle, how Steven doesn't fully understand it, but essentially he talks about how corrupted gems are, basically something's wrong with their minds. They can't remember who they are, and they just have no idea what they're supposed to be. Which, yeah, like you mentioned, does kind of touch back into how everything goes with Steven and his character, which also leads to him trying to distract himself by doing something silly, stupid, and fun.
Of course.
But in the meantime, as he and Connie continue following the monster's tracks, they come across a strange sight. They find the monster's tracks in what looks like in the middle of what's left over from a battle, as they see a bunch of trees destroyed, shattered, and amongst the footprints are humanoid footprints, which Steven and Connie kind of find strange because they did not look like that thing had humanoid feet. And pretty much as it starts snowing, Steven and Connie end up hunkering inside a tree, but Steven thinks that maybe, just maybe, the gem might not be fully corrupt, and he thinks that it's still a monster, but if it's still shifting between its humanoid form and its monster form, maybe he can fix it. Maybe he can heal it. And so, basically, with renewed vigor, once the snow stops, they continue following the tracks, and they do manage to track the monster down, as it's pretty much backed up against a cliff wall and trying to claw its way up. But pretty much, Steven and Connie are keeping a distance, trying to be calm, collected, say, okay, we just gotta approach this naturally. Then Pearl starts calling over the walkie-talkie and just makes such a ruckus that gets the monster's attention.
Remember, if you encounter the monster, to not make any sudden or loud noises.
I'm sorry, I would have snapped that walkie-talkie in half.
Yeah, she just kept talking.
Or yeeted that as far as I could.
And she just
Steven did.
Yeah, she even starts raising her voice like, Steven, Connie, are you there? I'm just gonna keep talking until someone answers. But yeah, it gets the monster's attention, and while Steven thinks he can talk to it, it ain't talking, as it pretty much just starts trying to bash them, and Steven has to protect him and Connie with a bubble. However, they do end up managing to get out of it and go into battle formation, but sadly, when Connie confronts the creature, she freezes up, which is understandable considering it's her first actual battle. But she does manage to gain some sense to run to where the walkie-talkie is and tell Pearl, hey, we found the monster, come get us. Which, yeah, Pearl even mentioned earlier that she was having trouble finding her monster too. But we soon learn why, as immediately after Connie makes the call, something swooshes in and punts the monster. It's Jasper! Yeah, it turns out she's been following this creature, and that's part of the reason why it's been running around and why it was kind of clawing at the cliff. Because Jasper's been chasing it, and the thing is, Jasper, she wants its gem, as she immediately beats the crap out of it, and while Steven and Connie are just kind of watching in fright, well, Steven more in fright, Connie in confusion because she has never met Jasper before, pretty much Jasper manages to knock the monster down and just rip its gem out of his chest, causing it to poof. As such, Pearl finally arrives on the scene after everything's kind of settled down, and Jasper just kind of sees the trio there, just kind of has a big evil smile and says, "Hey, look, Rose, look what I got," before she just walks away off into the woods. As such, Pearl does a check on Steven and Connie to make sure they're okay, but Connie apologizes that she froze up like that and that she wasn't so good in a battle.
You're forgetting one thing. Steven took that photo.
Oh yeah, he
just no hesitation, just click.
Yeah, just click. But yeah, that's another thing. Connie's parents asked Steven to take plenty of photos, so
He did.
yeah. So pretty much, yeah. With that in mind,
How will those parents react to those photos?
I don't think they would react well, but they also are aware of Steven's magical powers and Connie's sword fighting, so whatever. Anyway, bottom line, Pearl reassures Connie that she was fine. She did exactly what she was supposed to. She told her, "Call me if anything happens. You did that. It's all good. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this was a successful mission." So pretty much she assures Connie it's fine. You did good. Now we have a few more missions to take care of. So it all seems to end well. But Steven, going back to that photo you took, which by the way, thank you for bringing that up, he looks to his phone and he's just kind of scrolls to the photo of Jasper holding up the 2 gemstones. Because yeah, she was the one that poofed the other monster. And so, yeah, it kind of leaves Steven a bit worried, which leads into the next episode, Crack the Whip. With the Driscoll gems knowing that Jasper's out there and she seems to be collecting corrupted gem monsters, well, they decided they need to hunt her down, with Pearl and Garnet deciding to go back to the north to see if they can find any trace of her and potentially stop her. Unfortunately, though, they are doing this just on the day that Pearl was supposed to be training Connie. So when Connie comes over early to start training, well, Pearl quickly realizes, oh, wait, shit, no, I forgot all about that. And so, pretty much, Garnet and Pearl put Amethyst in charge of Steven and Connie, and they end up going back to the north to do their own thing, whereas Amethyst thinks, okay, cool, you kids got a day off, what are you gonna do? They start training.
Of course.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Especially if I was in a world where I could actively do that as my job. I would be a swordsman.
Yeah. But yeah, Amethyst is kind of getting bored with everything, and she even tells them, it's fine, you're doing fine, why are you worried about all these little things? But yeah, it's because Connie is still a little worried about the fact that she froze up last episode. But Amethyst actually does give some good advice. Yeah, well, we all kind of questioned all the little things don't matter in a battle, which we all thought was horse crap. At the same time, she does say, in the heat of battle, your mind's not always going to be on that sort of thing. You sometimes do need to go with the flow, as it were. Because even you can be as prepared as you want, but things are always going to happen that you're not prepared for, so you need to learn, so you need to adapt and just kind of be be flexible, so to speak.
Yeah, I see that now a lot more about, like, after the battle between Jasper and Amethyst, because, like, battle mind is a thing.
Yeah. But we'll get back to that in a bit. But pretty much, yeah, to try and teach Steven and Connie the go-with-the-flow method, they just take the day off to do whatever. Amethyst does her goofy shtick where she shapeshifts into Lars and tries to steal donuts with a big donut, which results in Steven and Connie handing over any cash they have. They just goof around, they drink sodas, they ride on rides in Funland, and even go swimming in the ocean while Amethyst is surfing. So, yeah, Connie and Steven, for the most part, they're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. Also, Lion's there. I forgot to mention that. But pretty much, yeah, Connie's glad that they did all this. She thinks it's fun to go with the flow and so forth. But ultimately, the fun times come to an end, as while they're in the ocean, one of the corrupted gems from the last episode comes out, which, yeah, the instant it shows up, Steven tries throwing up a bubble, and it tries to charge at them. Thankfully, Connie and Steven are saved by Amethyst, who manages to wrap it up in her whip and manages to tighten the whip so much that it causes the gem to poof. As such, Steven immediately goes in and bubbles the thing, and they immediately thank Amethyst for saving their hides, and that they were right, and that, yeah, she did good. It's like, and Amethyst is like, well, not one of my best victories, but I'll count it as a win. But even Steven and Connie are wondering, why was that thing here? We saw that up in the north. And Amethyst is like, it's like, you probably wouldn't forget a face like that. It's like, yeah, but weren't there 2 of them? And the instant Amethyst hears that, she's like, wait, 2? And sure enough, from the ocean comes the second one, with Jasper riding on its back. Yeah, and it's here Jasper reveals what her big plan is. But simply, she just wants to build an army, and since the only gems on this planet that are good enough for an army are corrupted ones, she's gathering as many corrupted gems as she can to build this army. As such, the instant Jasper arrives, Amethyst pretty much tells Steven and Connie to divide and conquer. She wants them in line to take care of the corrupted gem, while she'll face Jasper head on, which in a way makes sense. Again, she is supposed to be the experienced crystal gem, while Steven and Connie are the junior members, but things don't really go well. While Steven and Connie are doing their best to keep the corrupted gem from going nuts, well, to describe the battle with Jasper, curb stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasper just wipes the floor with Amethyst in every regard. And while Amethyst does try to just kind of brush it all off, just going, it's cool, I'm fine, I do my own thing, Jasper keeps telling Amethyst about how wrong she is, about how she's supposed to be a Jasper. She's not supposed to be a Jasper. She's supposed to be a quartz like Jasper. But she isn't like Jasper. She's a runt. She doesn't know what she's supposed to be, and it makes her weak. And Jasper demonstrates that by pretty much just going into a ball form and running over Amethyst before she can do an attack. When Amethyst tries to hit her with the whip, she just catches it and knocks her aside. And she's just beating the shit out of Amethyst relentlessly. And the entire time she's telling her she's a mistake, a joke, a runt. And even when Amethyst says, Rose said I was perfect the way I was, Jasper responds with, then she had low standards. So, pretty much the end result is that when Amethyst tries to launch an attack for that comment, Jasper knocks her into the air, and the instant she comes back down, she headbutts her, causing Amethyst to poof.
Yeah.
Which, Steven and Connie immediately see that, and before Amethyst's gem can even hit the ground, Jasper grabs it, and makes it very clear she plans to shatter it. Which finally causes Steven and Connie to say screw the monster and then run back in to help, which as they run, they end up fusing into Stevani and manage to get Amethyst's gem away from Jasper. Which Jasper, when she sees Stevani, is like, oh, what? It's like, what, you would fuse with a human? And Stevani's like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say unless it's sorry. As Stevani puts Amethyst's gem on the ground, climbs on Lion as Jasper climbs on the corrupted monster, and they pretty much just have themselves a little standoff, where before they both end up charging at each other, and put simply, Stevani ends up whooping Jasper's ass as they end up jumping into the air, and to distract Jasper, they throw Steven's shield, and then as she catches it, they go in for the kill and just smack her so hard that she ends up crushing the corrupted monster and causing it to poof. As such, Jasper's pretty much beaten here, but in the background, Amethyst starts reforming, and like you mentioned, it's clearly a rush job, because when she starts reforming her body, you do see her convulsing, like the last time that she was poofed multiple times. And it's clear that she's trying to make sure that she's trying to try to force something out there quickly, but she's also trying to keep it stable so that she doesn't have a repeat of the last time this happened. But she does finally manage to reform into a new outfit, which looks pretty similar to her last one, except for that her shirt is white and I think her pants are a different color.
I think her pants were the same color, but her shirt was longer and it was more tattered.
It was white.
It was white, and then her hair was wild white.
It's like that day off of work where you just put on the basic shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's clearly it was a rush job. But either way, the instant she pops back up, she's like, "Oh my God, guys, I'm here. Okay, what's going on?" And she immediately sees Stevani standing over Jasper, who's just yelling at them about how fusion, why is it always fusion? And Stevani even asks, so are you ready to apologize? And Jasper pretty much tells them, up yours, before taking the corrupted gem, saying that Jaspers never give up, they always hunt, they never stop, before going off into the ocean.
They always get what they want.
Yep. But either way, Amethyst comes up and sees Stevani, and the instant Stevani sees Amethyst, they unfuse back into Steven and Connie. And pretty much Steven and Connie are like, oh my God, we took your advice, we went right with the flow with it, and we kicked her ass, that was awesome, yeah! And, well, at first, Amethyst's is like, well, good on you guys, thanks for saving me, as they rush off to go celebrate their victory. The episode ends with Amethyst delivering a kind of having a somber face before saying, you didn't need me at all.
Yeah. That's the thing about when it comes to fighting, it's 50% physical, 50% mental. If a person gets under your skin in the middle of the fight, it's going to affect you even after.
Yep, and we'll get to that when I talk about Amethyst. But either way, what are your guys' thoughts on these episodes?
I mean, as far as, I enjoy the episodes a lot. I enjoyed in Gem Hunters seeing, how there's, the little moments of how the whole Gem Wars thing, and learning about all of the extra bits of the history of what it means to be a crystal gem, kind of weighing on Steven, and, him really just wanting to help the corrupted gems. Like, when he thought that it was a corrupted gem that wasn't corrupted at all the way and was still changing between a human and a gem, he was, like, all for being able to help this creature, even to the point where he was, like, standing in front of it, about to be eaten, and just, I can help you! And if it wasn't for, Connie being there to act as a defensive measure, he would have kept trying to help no matter what. And yeah, as well as with Crack the Whip, just Amethyst has a special spot in my heart, but that was yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had another episode so that we could follow up
Well,
with a
yeah.
feel-good moment, but instead, we get to live in the heartbreak!
Well, that's because I only do 2 episodes a week, so sorry. I mean, I could come back next week and we could talk about Bismuth as well.
Yeah, but I won't be here, so.
So I guess it's all me then. You get to.
I mean, I will. I'll be here.
Wait, is that appropriate for YouTube? Hang on.
It's like we're just here next week. He's like, "Hi, this is Sam and Tim. Haley couldn't be here. Anyway, let's talk about the aftermath." It's like, sorry, we're here, but this was prime real estate.
Fish sitting.
That's the excuse.
Anywho.
It's like after the instant you're gone, you just pull up a walkie-talkie. He's like, they're out, and I just come strolling up, ready to watch the episodes.
You were just around the block.
And you just call me and you're like, "Hey Sam, were you parked behind my corner?" "No." "Well, it looked like your car." "No, that wasn't my car. It had the same den." What a weird coincidence.
Oh, now I know you guys are conspiring against me.
Us, no.
You do it all the time to me.
Never. I'm an innocent soul. Anyway,
Bullshit.
your opinions on the episode.
Episodes, yes.
Well, being that I don't have much experience watching this.
Oh yeah, by the way,
series,
he's going in mostly blind.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Once 13 hit, my mom kind of told me to stop watching a lot of cartoons. I still watch anime, but that's because it's a lot more gruesome. But I enjoyed it. I do like Jasper's character design, but that's also because I have a thing when it comes to power. I like show signs of power. I like signs of strength.
My man.
Jasper is one of the type of people that I could definitely see myself, if meeting Jasper in life, being like, let's box. Let's do something.
I'm gonna let you know, if you met Jasper in real life, she would call you a slur and then knock you out.
I would still fight. Because I'm the type of person, unless you actually knock me the fuck out, knock me out, I don't give up.
Fuck shit.
I don't give up. But I like Jasper's. I like the idea of, using the corrupted gems, capturing them, and using them as your armor. Yes, they're corrupted, so they're going to attack either side. But even though there's a corruption, they do seem some type of sense of animalistic. So there is a power hierarchy in the animal kingdom.
Can I interject my opinion into this with a little bit more background knowledge than you have? Jasper's in my opinion, the equivalent experience of Jasper taking corrupted gems to make into her army is like a pimp going around and finding all of the drug-addicted women that he can and bringing them home for his prostitute army.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, I thought the stupidest thing.
I was thinking.
I'm just imagining this pimp just standing on this big pedestal, and there's just a bunch of prostitutes battle armor with big batons, attacking the city.
There's a lot of her animes out there kind of like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
But in my opinion, that's far more accurate for what Jasper's doing rather than building her own army and supply. No, she's taking damaged people and forcing them to fight for her because fuck you, Rose! That's really all it comes down to. And that's... I don't like Jasper. I really don't like Jasper.
I can understand.
There are some people on the internet who would disagree with you, actually.
Jasper's pretty, but I hate Jasper.
But, yeah, that's with the first episode. With the second episode, Crack the Whip, I do really appreciate how they put in the aspect of that battle mind, because you can see during the battle, Jasper was brutally psychologically attacking Amethyst more than physical.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I have seen some TikTok videos and other things of Amethyst. Amethyst is a decent fighter. Amethyst can hold their own. Um, but it doesn't matter how much you can hold your own. If someone attacks you mentally, it's gonna throw you off the game. They just need to throw you off the game just for one good hit. And that's all it takes. I've seen prize fighters get taken down from a lucky shot. Like it's a big thing being able to keep your mind and focus in the battle. Uh, Connie and Connie and
Crack the whip. Or,
Steven.
yes, Connie and Steven. Sorry, I thought you were
Connie
asking
and
for the
Steven,
episode.
them being able to fuse, being one body on one mind, being able to fight Jasper on that level it was a great way of showing that you gotta stay focused. Yeah, it hurts Amethyst after that because you can see it in their eyes about how bad they felt. Like, oh, I did nothing. You guys did everything, and I did nothing.
And
Like at the
you go ahead. Sorry.
like at the end when they were saying like, let's go tell everyone. I could see in the look of Amethyst's eyes. Please don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to know that I failed.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
I feel like part of that has to do with Amethyst really prides herself on being Steven's role model, mentor, like someone to look up to, big sister almost. Like she is
I feel that.
really, really proud of her relationship with Steven in that sense. And to watch him surpass her and to her be that level of helpless when she's used to being the one that saves him. He has always needed her to be there for him in that sort of a way, and now it was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine. It all worked out, and she, while wasn't a liability, she didn't have the victorious fight.
Yeah.
And so that little bit of being surpassed by Steven, and I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily conscious, but like the fact that Steven is half human too, has all of the gems going. Obviously, you have a weaker power set than us, which isn't necessarily true, but that's kind of the assumed thing. So on top of her being a runt, her being a misformed gem, and all these fun things, now a half human surpassed her in fighting abilities.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, yeah.
like proud of you, but ow.
Yeah.
It's hard to be happy for someone when it's something that you usually do. Like when you're usually the protector and you get protected. Like I've felt that before. I've had people protect me in a fight and everything. You feel crappy. It brings you down to a low level that you don't think you can ever rise from.
But
like, yeah.
when you look at the other side with how Steven and Connie reacted, they were just so excited that they were able to to do what Amethyst taught them, to let go of the what should we do? How do we do this? How do we beat them? What can we do? All of that stuff.
Pass the torch.
Yeah, but they did it. That happened, and then they just wanted to celebrate with her, and I feel like that sort of made them blind to what she was going through.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
But I also do appreciate the way, going back to the other episode, I appreciate the way that Pearl behaved in that episode and everything. It's obviously showing that she's supposed to have this, character development going where she's still the neurotic Pearl that we all love. But less projecting about her anxieties onto other people, more willing to let Connie and Steven go out and try and do things. Like I cannot picture for season 1 Pearl going and saying, "Hey, yeah, you guys go off, have fun."
To be fair, it was a reluctance. She did not they had to convince her to let them go off.
Right, but they convinced her by saying, "We have walkie-talkies and we'll keep in contact you," and that was it.
And that they have to because the creature split it off.
Right, you and I both know episode 1, Pearl would have followed those children, would have pretended to go her own separate direction and then followed them, or created a clone of herself to go the other direction and then follow the children. Like,
Yeah.
That level of trust was pretty extraordinary. in my
Pearl,
opinion.
the ultimate helicopter parent.
That's actually very accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pearl watches you more than Big Brother.
Yes.
I mean, she watches Steven while he sleeps sometimes, so.
Most times.
I'm sorry, if
All
I wake up
times.
and I see someone just staring at me as I'm sleeping, there's a 100% chance I'm gonna throw a punch
Okay.
directly at them.
Okay, so mild spoiler bit just of, with Pearl's brain. I can't imagine that in Pearl's brain there is not a secret file room that is dedicated to Steven's nightly heart rate monitoring, every boo-boo he's ever had, anytime he's ever been sick, favorite foods, any potential allergies, any time that he touched something and he felt kind of weird like a day later, just in case that particular element was toxic. I am 100% sure Pearl has that.
Are we sure Pearl is not going to eventually kidnap Steven?
She did at one point.
I think, yeah. Oh, she did, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. That she still.
They built a spaceship and then...
She almost took Steven to space and even said,
Okay,
"Oh, don't worry. Don't
that-
worry. I'll give him back in 50 years."
That gives me very much the vibes of the crazy ladies who steal babies from hospitals.
Well, to be fair, she's Steven's guardian.
Yeah.
It's just that she stole him from his dad.
Yeah.
Although,
I mean, she did learn a really important lesson.
Where-
Yeah, she did learn a lesson. From
Where's
it.
CPS?
They don't exist here.
No.
Like,
CPS doesn't exist here. I mean, come on. Steven's dad lives out of a van. Steven's dad lives out of a van.
yeah,
Steven's
and-
dad lives out of a van and unofficially transferred guardianship of his child to 3 aliens who have no
Steven
experience
doesn't
with
go to
kids.
school.
No, he never
No.
does.
This
No.
is
never has.
This is why that there's no social skills worker involved. That's why that father still has his custody as much as he does.
Yep. Oh
God.
To be fair, who else would take him? And even if they did take him, he's a kid with magical superpowers. How would they handle him?
This is some Jerry Springer shit.
Greg's parents could take him.
He would not let them near him.
No, Greg would not let them near him. Steven would enjoy the heck out of it. Anyway.
Your thoughts. Are you done, or do you want to summarize?
I'm at my limit because God, this kid is so.
Wait till you get. Just watch.
Just wait till you get to Steven Universe Future.
Definitely the kid has issues.
I've seen some bits and pieces of that, and seen him talking to his therapist, and his therapist is like,
Well, yeah, actually, we don't see the therapist. He was talking to a doctor.
Yeah.
still though, like that doctor is what I was thinking. Like, Jesus, kid,
Oh,
you need a
Tim,
hug.
this is why I want you to sit down and watch the whole thing with me so that you can watch the trauma laid upon this child, all laid out, how it affects this poor child, and then what the fuck he does with it.
Like I said, this is a kid's cartoon.
Barely. Barely.
I'm just here at this point.
Oh, I mean,
Sorry.
the host, our host, Samuel Johnson.
Yes. So are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, so my thoughts on the episode for Gem Hunt. I like we get continuation with Jasper because the last time we saw her the last time we saw her prior to Alone at Sea was when she fell into the ocean, and after that we saw her come back and be active in Alone at Sea when she was pursuing Steven, Greg, and Lapis when trying to get Lapis to fuse back with her. But now we actually see her being more of an active force this time around, and basically we do see her pretty much doing more villain shit. In this case, we see her just trying to build an army, and out of all the antagonists that Steven faces in Steven Universe, Jasper is probably one of the closest to a true antagonist because of just her drive. She hates Steven just because he's his mother's son, and even then, scratch that. She hates Steven because she thinks he's his mom, and she has a grudge against Rose Quartz. And so, pretty much, she just wants nothing to do with this kid and just wants to see his face pounded into the dirt just because of how much she hated his mom. So, it's cool. I find it interesting that she's essentially taking advantage of a situation to essentially try and crush the opposition. Because after all, she didn't come to Earth to conquer. She came to Earth because Peridot was supposed to check on the status of the cluster, and she was her commanding officer. But now she's stuck on Earth, so she's pretty much saying, you know what, fine, but if I'm here, I'm gonna do things my way, and so that's why we start seeing her building the army with the corrupted gems. So I do like how it lays the groundwork in Gem Hunt to see her get all that in motion. On top of that, but in less big stuff, I do like the character stuff with Steven and Connie in Gem Hunt. For Steven, like you mentioned, this adds more to his character as well as he's pursuing the gem. When he's talking about how he perceives corruption and how the gems don't really understand who they are or what they're supposed to be, it's a nice little parallel to what's going on in Steven's head. And we've seen this kind of shit with Steven even as early as the second episode. Because going back to that episode when he talked about the laser light cannon, he said everyone's relying on you, they all want you to be this thing, but you don't know how to do it. We see that reflected here as well. Because, yeah, Steven, like I mentioned in the beginning, has big shoes to fill considering who his mom was. So pretty much you see a little bit of that here when talking about the corrupted gem. It's not just a sense of empathy and wanting to help them. It's also because he relates to what they're going through on some level, at least based on how he understands it. And on top of that, when the idea is thrown out there that the corrupted gem might be shifting between its monster form and its humanoid form, he has hope because he has seen that when gems are corrupted, there is a chance they can be healed. That's what happened with Centipedal a few episodes ago. He managed to heal her into enough of a humanoid form that he was able to communicate with her, and she was able to remember who she was before she was corrupted, to the point where even when she did turn back into a monster, her sense of self was still there. It's just the monster part was in front of it, so she couldn't do anything. But the thing is, when Steven has a bit of hope, he just latches onto it. Thinks, I can help this gem. I can help them. And when he encounters the corrupted gem, he's just doing everything in his power to try and plead with it, saying, I can help you. I can help you. But ultimately, it doesn't really go anywhere, which it hurts. But it's a nice little window into Steven's psyche. And on terms of it, when with Connie, it's not as big with her, but it is nice to see her character progressing more in a sense. Basically, now that she's becoming a bigger part of Steven's world, she's now able to do things that are a part of that, and being a part of Steven's world, learning to fight alongside him and fight monsters. Well, that's a big thing too, and so essentially, it's nice seeing her being a part of official mission. Like, she has technically seen a bit of battle, because there was the training robot that she and Steven fought, there was the gem mutants in the hospital, and now we got this with the corrupted gem monsters. But the only problem is, well, she freezes, which, again, is understandable. This is her first official mission, but I can understand why afterwards she would feel guilty for this, because she's had some experience. She's been taught how to fight. She's faced these ugly little fuckers before. So now to suddenly freeze up, yeah, it does get to her. At the very least, she's still praised because she did exactly what she was supposed to. She called for the teacher and said, we found it, come and get us, and as a result, it was essentially still a positive. She did what she was supposed to, and again, it's a first official mission. You're not expected to get it right on the first try. So,
can I also add to that yes, she has experienced corrupt gems before, but this was a gem that was literally 3 of her tall.
Oh yeah, there was also
and
the giant.
Probably 5 of her wide.
Also, that reminds me. The first time she and Steven actually talked, she encountered a corrupted gem and helped kill it.
Mm-hmm. But
she didn't fight it off. They had to get creative to take it down, but still.
Oh jeez.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I do like her sword.
Oh, definitely.
That's Rose's sword.
Oh yeah, that's Rose's sword. It's technically Steven's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird. I like massive. I love Guts' sword. I love heavy
Oh
blades.
fuck you! Oh fuck, man, that is awesome.
Anything over 5 pounds. I understand it's unethical and should not be used in battle.
Counterpoint, counterpoint.
Wait.
Fucking giant swords are awesome.
Yes.
So next week is Bismuth's episodes, right?
Yes, Bismuth is one of the episodes.
Now you do have to get together because of the Point Break.
Oh yeah, because Bismuth
or breaking point. Point.
Oh yeah, that spoilers. I can't talk about it.
There's no more spoilers.
No. That's a good.
This show has only been out for 4 years. There's
a chance that someone does it, and while I do occasionally reveal some kind of spoilers here and there, it's usually only for minor things. And this is still a big one. Okay.
I got a bit of a spoiler. Did you guys know Darth Vader is Luke's father?
Oh damn it!
Who's Luke?
I was gonna go see
Anakin Skywalker's son.
Oh fuck! Now you've ruined that whole series
Well,
for me.
well, damn, shit. Thanks a lot, jerk.
Yep. My years 4, like my 4-year age 4 through like 7, where my brother was obsessed with that shit, is now ruined because of you.
Uzi is not impressed.
I am worse than the internet.
Apologize to Uzi.
Apologize.
Sorry.
Uzi forgives you, I think. I don't know. I don't
Uzi's
know.
gonna pull out an Uzi.
She might actually. She actually had a laser rail gun in the show.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, but yeah, going back to that, I do like that we got to see that with Connie, and it's again, and because it's her first official mission, I do like that there is some growing pains there. So I like that progression, and again, overall, I think it's a fine episode, but definitely leaves you wanting, which I think is the point, especially since the episode ends with Steven looking at the picture with Jasper with the corrupted gems. And likewise, Crack the Whip, I think it does well at continuing with the plot threads that Gem Hunt had laid out. As we see as we see the gems now taking steps to try and hunt Jasper, just because they know she's active out there and they can't let her just run around and do whatever because she is still dangerous. But by that same token, it is still interesting to see Steven and Connie still kind of dealing with the aftermath of that, especially in Connie's case, as while Pearl told her, it's fine, you did what you were supposed to, she still doesn't want to freeze up like that again, which is what leads to her being more willing to join Amethyst and Steven on their little outing, which I do like that, because Amethyst is not wrong in the advice she gives. Yeah, she's callous and just nonchalant about it, because when Steven and Connie were fighting, she was just literally laying back and not even looking at them. And then when they asked her, hey, come on, you gotta watch us, she just shape-shifted her feet into her eyes, and even then she got bored and almost fell asleep. So, there's that. But at the same time, the advice she gives isn't bad. Just in the heat of battle, sometimes you gotta be loose and go with the flow, adapt, and just go with things. And ultimately, it ultimately can help you in the end, which ultimately does help. Which does help because when Steven and Connie see her get poofed by Jasper later, they do follow her advice, and when they form into Stevani and fight Jasper, they're still going with the flow. They're still just adapting, and ultimately, it's by going with the flow of battle and by just kind of throwing Jasper off her kilter, they managed to land a victory by poofing Jasper's monster. So that essentially gives them a leg up over her. So I do like that. I do like seeing that, and on top of that, seeing Stevani in battle, it's a first, because the previous times we've seen Stevani in the show, they were just kind of doing their own thing. In their debut episode, it was literally just Stevani trying to figure out who they were and what they wanted to do. And it, also led to some confusion because technically Stevani wasn't alone and they didn't know how to process it. Then after that, they had that cameo in... what was the episode's name? It was the other flashback episode. The one we looked at. I'm trying to remember the name of the episode. We Need to Talk. That was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
That was the name of the episode, yeah. We saw them briefly appear in that when Steven and Connie accidentally fused again. And then likewise, the next one was the Kevin episode, which was Beach City Drift, yeah. When they wound up stealing Greg's car to go drag racing against Kevin. Yeah, that's actually what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so, pretty much, we've seen Stevani in social situations, and we've seen them developing like a teenager would, which in some way not only is like a development of Steven and Connie's relationship, because Stevani is them, and an embodiment of their relationship, but at the same time, this is the first time we see Stevani in a full battle. And what I like about them here is that they embody everything that Steven and Connie learned, because Steven's the shield, Connie's the sword. And so when Stevani runs into battle, they've got access to both. They have everything that Steven and Connie have learned, and they use it to their advantage, and they actually kick ass. When Steven and Connie fuse into Stevani and rush at Jasper, the first thing Stevani does is kick Amethyst's gem out of Jasper's grasp and grab it. After that, they get on Lion, charge headfirst into battle, and again, use what Amethyst taught them to take Jasper down. It's smart, and I like it. It works really damn well, and I admit, it's cathartic to see Jasper lose her shit.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it's the final thing that kind of puts the nail in the coffin for the episode, and I'm saying that in the best way, because it sounds like I'm going to hate the episode there, is Amethyst's reaction. First off, again, her outfit. Like we said, it looks like it's just kind of thrown together because of how quickly she had to reform, but I like it. I like the white. I like the kind of white. I don't know. I like lighter clothing sometimes. I think it works well. Still fits what you would expect from Amethyst because it looks like half thrown together, especially with the leggings, which I swear, I think the leggings are just her old leggings, but the colors are reversed.
That's a distinct possibility.
I think that's what it was, but either way, yeah, she has that after that because until the final episode of the series, she does not. So that's the outfit she has. But
See,
yeah,
I will. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt yet again.
I got something I gotta say too.
See, the thing
You
that
first,
I
then you.
have about Amethyst's clothes, like when she reforms, is like the color combination is not bad. It's not even off-brand for for Amethyst or anything. It's more of like, if you look at her shirt looks like it was torn to shreds. It looks like it was a scrap of fabric that was tied onto her. Her hair went from being wild, big, and poofy most of the time, covering half her face, to looking like it was unable to, like, unmanageably in her face, sort of thing.
Her face also looked a little bit disformed too.
Yeah, no,
A little bit.
her eyes were wide. She had the bag lines under her eyes and everything. Like, it was.
I think she managed to level that stuff out because even no matter when a gem forms, the hair is stylable. So
Yeah, it's just that when she's first come out before, when she has reformed before, she's come, bam, full ready to go, everything the way it's supposed to be, nothing needed to be altered or changed. This was such a quick force thing. Like, it is established that Amethyst is one of the fastest, like one of the gems that can reform the fastest.
Mhm.
But this was even fast for her. Like, this was a couple of seconds, and she forced it through, and you can tell it's like someone who had woke up 10 minutes after their alarm went off and they were supposed to be out the door for work, and they just grabbed what they had to and went. They didn't even look at what they looked like to see if they were presentable. That's kind of the vibe she had.
which makes sense considering that she was trying to reform quickly because she thought Steven and Connie were in trouble.
And then her first words, as soon as she's reformed, is, "Steven, Connie, I'm here. You guys, where are you?" Sort of thing. Like, her first thought was, "I'm gonna take care of my peoples. Where are my kids?"
But yeah, I like that. I do like that. That is sincere. What were you gonna say?
I'm not. I've held it off as much as I could, but every time you say Stefani, like I said earlier,
Gwen Stefani,
Yes.
I get it.
I'm sorry. I understand it's a bad joke, but
It's because their name is Steven and Connie
I
mushed
know.
together.
I know.
See,
I
Tim,
get it.
they're not. See, now you just need to find a Ben 10 Steven Universe crossover fic.
Yes. Yes.
Poor Sam whimpers in pain.
I know what you're getting at with it. And while the idea of Ben 10 and Steven Universe crossing over is awesome and was technically done in the OK Ben Let's Go Universe crossover, the reasons why you're suggesting it make me hurt.
I'm just saying that if we add Gwen to it, then you could have.
No.
No. You don't want to bring an extra bit of magic to the alien
No. Because the reason you want to do it is to make that work.
Imagination here.
I have imagination. It's just that you two have bad taste.
That's a matter of opinion.
I mean, I have dated the red flags, so that makes a lot of sense. You're the greenest red flag I have.
What? Greenest red flag. If you two were living together, you'd be sleeping on the couch tonight.
You know what I mean.
You're out of shot, by the way.
What? Okay. Yeah, we'll say I know what you mean.
I'm going to suffer later.
Oh, you are definitely going to suffer later.
I will say that I appreciate the way that they did portray, because in my opinion, Jasper is a very one-tracked mind sort of gem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very clear that, like you said, she is just after Steven. That also translates into her seeing why she would lose a fight. Obviously, she lost because they fused.
Yeah.
Not because they actually used their strengths and use their strengths properly. Like, use their training that they had to do stuff. Like, they didn't do any exceptional tricks that were out of the, what, one person with a sword and shield could do. It was just, they finally put what they know into practice. And because Jasper wasn't prepared for that, she blames it on the fact they fused.
Yeah, which I kind of find interesting. That's another thing I do like with Jasper in her relationship to fusion. Because when she first appeared, she thought fusion was just a cheap trick that weaker gems used to be stronger. And then immediately when Garnet kicked her ass, she was like, well, fine, if I was a fusion, I could kick your asses, which was what led to the Malachite fusion, which she wasn't technically wrong in that regard. She wound up whooping Alexandrite's ass, which is another fusion of all the crystal gems minus Steven. And so, yeah, she's basically...
They fuse like chemicals.
Actually, kind of.
Yeah.
That actually kind of makes sense. But yeah. Either way, yeah, back with Amethyst. Basically, her character in this episode... This goes back to Amethyst and her character deal. Specifically, the self-loathing. Basically, in the episode, she does, she does treat everything so cavalierly. She does still try to act as the responsible parent to Steven and Connie. When she talks to them, yeah, she kind of gets bored when they aren't doing anything fun. But likewise, when they do ask her for advice, she does try to give them legitimate advice, which, like we said, is what helped them win in the end when they fought Jasper. But what ultimately hurts is the ending of the episode when Amethyst and Jasper fought, because Amethyst has as we've showcased, Amethyst has self-image issues up the wazoo, and the last time that was brought up that she was wrong, well, it hurt her bad because when Peridot brought it up. Yeah, it caused Amethyst to just shut down emotionally. She didn't acknowledge Peridot any more than she had to. She was emotionally distanced from everyone. It just hit her in the wrong place. And now she's against Jasper. And it's clear she's trying not to let what Jasper said get to her. Like when Jasper says, you came out wrong. You're supposed to be like me, but you're not. And Amethyst at first goes like, I do my own thing. So she's clearly trying to hold on to everything. But unfortunately, Jasper manages to keep pushing the right buttons, especially since in battle, Jasper is the superior gem. Jasper...
I would argue, though, that she didn't actually start to gain, it wasn't that she got into Amethyst's head until she started bringing up the other gems and how they view them and her inferiority compared to them.
Exactly, because that's the thing that finally got her off the head, because Amethyst... While she may have a low opinion of Amethyst has a low opinion of herself, and little by little, she is getting better at that, especially with Steven helping her. But the biggest thing, and I relate to this mindset more than I would like, is the feeling of being a burden to those you love.
Yeah.
There have been times, which, chime in whenever you want to on this, there have been times when, even on, when it comes to my friends, I feel like a burden. I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I should be doing more, or I feel like I'm taking advantage of them, even though I'm told, no, it's fine, we like having you around, you do all this stuff for us. Even you've mentioned when I've driven all the way out here that you're okay with spending money to get me food, because I drive all the way out here.
Yeah.
I
feel bad that I don't go out to your place more often.
You should have!
I'm sorry!
But I'm sorry, I'm kidding. But yeah, the thing is, I understand that mindset. It can hurt. Even if you're told by everyone, you're fine, you're doing great, there's always going to be that little voice in your head that tells you, no, you're not.
Sorry, you finish. I'll explain after.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can be told by 1,000 people, you're great, you're awesome. You're going to remember the 10 people that said you're useless.
Exactly. That's ultimately the big thing with Amethyst, too. She knows that she's fine. Everyone's told her she's fine. But as long as there's that little voice in her head that tells her, no, you're not. You are a burden to them. She's always going to feel like a burden. And that's what ultimately becomes her biggest downfall, because Jasper keeps hitting those buttons. And Amethyst's reaction, and the biggest reaction, was when Jasper said Rose had low standards, when Amethyst said that Rose said she was perfect. Basically, that's what because that ultimately hits her hard, and as a result, Amethyst does the stupidest thing in battle, and it leaves her wide open for an attack that causes her to lose. As Jasper poofs her and almost shatters her, which, for gems, that's the closest equivalent to death there is, which even that can come back from if you can get all the pieces together. But yeah, she almost shattered her because of that, and in the end, when Amethyst does come back, yeah, there's a part of her that feels like that she should be proud of Steven and Connie. We even see that. She said, oh, thank you guys. But then when they're running away, she feels, you didn't need me. And I felt that too. Not under the same circumstances, but I felt that mindset. That ultimately, even when people say, we like having you around, we like being with you, you add so much just from being in the from just being there, you don't even have to say anything, we just like having you around and having you in a conversation. There's always going to be that part of your mind that thinks, do you really need me here? And ultimately, the fact, and what, like you mentioned, when Steven and Connie actually followed her advice, in a way, there's a way she could have interpreted that as if they wouldn't have won without her. But the thing is, when you have this kind of mindset, there's always going to be a part of your mind that says that you not only have to contribute, but you actually have to have worth.
Yeah.
That you need to actually do something. You have to actively add something. You can't just say, give a few good pieces of advice and then someone else does it. No. Yeah, you help put them in that mindset, but they're the ones that did it. You did nothing. And so you see that with Amethyst here. And the way she reacts when Steven and Connie get the win and yet she's thrown into the sidelines, you can tell it hurts her. Because she's supposed to be the one they look up to. She's supposed to be the responsible parent. She's supposed to be the crystal gem. And yet these two junior members essentially won. They saved
They saved her.
Yeah, they saved her. In her mind, she added nothing. Despite the fact that she did take out one of the monsters.
Yeah.
She did take him one out.
I
But
mean,
the fact that she did not win against the boss, the big bad, and the one who told her, you suck, it hurts.
Yeah.
And I understand that mindset so well. Like you said, you could be told, 1,000 people could say you're the greatest, but you're always going to remember the 10 that said you suck. So, I like that. And it reverberates with Amethyst, because in the episode after this, we see more of how it's affecting her. And even a few episodes later, it's still on her mind, and it causes her to start building a vendetta with Jasper because of it. So, yeah, it's interesting, and it helps. Yeah, it's sad, but I do like how they portray it. It's very relatable, very nice, and it works. It works very well for the story and her character. I like that. But what were you gonna say?
Well, that's pretty much what I was gonna say earlier when I said about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's just they all need some therapy.
Oh, definitely. I even said at one point in the description of one of these videos, if the crystal gems went to a therapist, that therapist would be a millionaire.
Yeah.
I would like to add that I can't help but picture how Steven would feel if he actually knew how Amethyst felt at the end of that show, the end of that episode.
Oh, he would be devastated.
Because he's
definitely.
coming from the perspective of
The next episode
thank
explores
you
that.
so much for being giving me and Connie the ability to stand on our own 2 feet, to fight for ourselves. Thank you for helping us for that. Unending gratitude, and to have someone that he still looks at as a big sister, a mentor sort of person, a role model, to have them feel like they are unnecessary in his life, I can't do that. Would just, I feel like that would just crush him.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of does learn that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But
I was leaving it nice and vague to avoid spoilers. So.
Well, hey, that's not the big spoiler, okay? When I talked about Ben 10 Alien Force, when Max died, I said, spoilers, he comes back in a later episode, but for the context of the episode. I didn't say how he came back, but I just said he came back.
I'm not gonna lie, I stopped after Ultimate Alien.
Fair enough. Ultimate Alien was the show where I felt the show was going downhill, and that's why I didn't do a vlog on it. And Omniverse, I quit watching when it got to the Incursion Invasion
Omniverse
of
was
Earth.
the one with the different art style.
Yeah,
that's
that felt like
that
tried to be what classic Ben 10 was, and I think it failed. It had good ideas, and
it made me think more like Teen Titan Go.
Yeah, I feel like it was trying to do the same thing that the Teen Titan Go did with Teen Titans with the classic Ben 10, and
it felt like it was.
I feel like the classic Ben 10 vibe was closer to what they were trying to accomplish with Teen Titans Go as a general, just because Ben 10 as a classic was kind of off the walls, weird humor with intense situations.
Yeah. But like what? But
you can't turn the dial up on that when it's already on max.
Omniverse honestly did not know what it wanted to be. It felt like it wanted to be classic Ben 10, but also be silly. It felt like it wanted to be as serious as Alien Force and Ultimate Alien could be, but then no one then tried and switch the dial. Plus again, I talked about this before. I think they did Ben's character dirty. As the years went by, they overemphasized his doofus nature over his competent nature, because he was competent even when he was a kid, and yet they emphasized the more stupid stuff. But I talked about that when I talked about the episode that crossed over with Secret Saturdays, which yes, I did a vlog about the Ben 10 crossovers.
I like the Secret Saturdays.
Yes!
Secret Saturdays were amazing.
Also,
That episode-
Generator Rex was good too.
Yes, I did vlogs. I did vlogs on Ben 10's crossovers. In fact,
Yes.
Advertising. I did a vlog on all the Ben 10 televised crossovers. Generator Rex, the Secret Saturdays, OKKO plus Steven Universe plus Teen Titans Go, and then Generator Rex again. No, I'm not kidding. The Rebirth
I remember talking about this with you before. It's just that I didn't realize that we were doing a plug moment. So.
Well, you guys brought it up, okay?
Blame the ADHD.
I mean, I brought in Ben 10. I brought up Ben 10, and you guys shifted the conversation.
ADHD.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Although Ben 10 Universe, I did think had some good ideas in there. There was actually one storyline involving Ben in multiple universes, which I thought was cool. Plus Ben 23. I like Ben 23. It was actually like a nice little clash between two different versions of Ben. But either way, that was Ben 10. This is Steven Universe. Overall, basically the stuff with Amethyst I thought worked really damn well. It's very relatable, it's very nice, and it really does. It not only adds more, and it not only helps further along the stuff with Steven and Connie and showing how far they're coming, but also helps add to more of Amethyst's character arc when you see just how badly it's affecting her. So I like that. I think it's done well. So overall, I like Gem Hunt. It's a nice little episode. It's a nice little kind of intro episode, so to speak, of the two-parter, as we see Connie officially join a mission and try and get her footing, and ultimately, despite how prepared she was, essentially fumbling at the bat, but still, basically that was what was expected, but also laying down the groundwork with Jasper, and likewise Crack the Whip followed up on that, showcasing Steven and Connie trying to prepare for it, getting some solid advice, actually facing Jasper in battle, learning what her deal is, and ultimately laying down more groundwork for the next episode with Amethyst and how distraught she is. So, yeah, overall, liked the episode, liked the episodes.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's about all I have left to say. All we have left to say. So, thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson.
I'm Haley Dudley.
I'm Timothy D. Hobley.
And this is Uzi. And I hope to see you next week as we actually follow up on what the heck on how this whole thing has affected Amethyst. And we actually finally see the first episode of Steven Universe. That's a full 22 minutes. And we soon learn that
Episode.
and we start to see a bit more skeletons from Rose Quartz's closet come out. So till then, I hope you have a good night. I'll see you next week and take care.
See you.